ESPN and the Professional Bowlers Association present the championship round finals of the $80,000 Rocky Mountain Senior Open. PBA Hall of Famer Dave Soutar will start from the number 5 position in search of his first senior singles title. His opponent in tonight's opening match has won more titles than any other senior player, Teata Semiz. John Hricsina has qualified third and will look to end a 7-game losing streak in the championship round. The current PBA Senior Player of the Year, John Handegard, has nailed down the runner-up position, while Gene Stus of Allen Park, Michigan, who averaged a whopping .235 this week, will be shooting for his second title of the 1992 campaign. Welcome to Celebrity Sports Center, located in the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado. Hi, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, along with 3-time Firestone champ Mike Durbin. And, Mike, for years, I've been a proponent of televising the position round game, the 42nd game of the national tournaments out here. Last night may have been the best of all time. The scores went right through the ceiling.
They certainly did, Denny. I've been a member of the PBA for 25 years. This may have been the most exciting position round game that I've ever seen. To set the stage for you, Gene Stus and John Handegard bowled for the title. They were 400 pins ahead of everyone else, but only 10 pins apart by themselves. So the winner of that game, which was Stus, led the tournament. Between 4th and 7th place was only 72 pins. So 7 bowlers had a chance. John Hricsina shot .257 to go from 4th to 3rd. Teata Semiz beat Don Johnson 279 to 269 to ensure a spot on the show. So Don Johnson bowled .269 and dropped a spot in the round. So it was a very, very exciting game.
Let's start with the number 5 qualifier. He's a PBA and ABC Hall of Famer, Dave Soutar, but he has been disappointed in his senior play.
He has, especially these 4 tournaments so far this summer. But he made a change in his timing. He figured he was a little late. He got a tip from his old roommate, Dave Davis, and he made a slight change in the timing to try and get the ball into the swing a little quicker. He's on the telecast today.
In your illustrious career, did you ever go home and have your family talk you into coming back out? That's what happened to Tito.
No, I never did. You know, and his son drilled a ball for him. Interestingly enough, he changed the pitch in it. He went a little bit less reverse and a little left with the pitch in his thumb hole, and that helped him to stay behind the ball longer, and he says he's staying with that ball.
John Hricsina had a talk with himself this week before the final, 8 games of play, and he exploded last night.
He really did explode. The last 8 games, he averaged over .250, won all 8 games, went from 18th to 3rd, but the question still is, can he win a game on television?
That's probably what John Handegard is asking himself tonight, because he is in a position right now where he is second, but he could have won the last couple of weeks.
He certainly could. 2 10 pins cost him the last 2 tournaments, the titles both weeks. This week he's in a different position, going from the number 2 spot. Maybe he'll get the breaks and carry the strikes. It would be justice, in my opinion, if Stus and Handegard bowl for the title.
You've spoken of Gene Stus. He's $100,000 richer after that 300 game a couple of weeks ago, and he is on a big-time roll.
We've had 4 tournaments so far this summer. He's bowled for the title now 3 out of the 4 weeks. So, needless to say, he is red hot. He's been interviewed. He's been pressured. A lot of things happening in his life. He seems calm throughout it all and just going about his matter-of-fact business. He's an extremely confident bowler.
Mike, I think you would agree that we have our strongest field ever for a senior event tonight, and it starts with a beautiful opening match between Hall of Famer and also Dave Soutar. And Soutar starts the match. Championship round pair of lanes, 61 and 62, a high-scoring pair of lanes.
High-scoring pair during the week, especially by Teata Semiz.
Tito averaged 244, Soutar 224 on this pair of lanes. Soupy up with a quick shot. Nice roll on this one, and he strikes.
In the morning rounds all week long, Dan, the players played out close to the first arrow, swinging it wide of the first arrow, depending on how much you individually hook the ball. And it was getting lined up with that oil pattern. And then as the day wore on, they'd move in a little bit further left.
Tito captured his final 4 games in match play last night to vault onto the telecast. And he dices up the rack on 62.
And he said that this pair was just the same for him as it had been last night and during the match play. 5-step forward, pushes the ball out there, head is steady, the backswing goes slightly higher than shoulder high. There's his pivot step, nice long slide, the good knee bend on balance. I'll tell you what, at 58, he looks pretty good.
Told me the left lane hooked a couple of boards more than the right lane, and that was exactly how he played him last night when he shot 250 and 270.
Well, if that's true, he'll probably swing it more here. Went around a little bit more. The right lane, he went a little more direct.
3 shots, 3 strikes, and now Soutar needs to X here if he just wants to maintain pace.
Well, the bowlers know the scores have been high all week. We anticipate the scores being high tonight. At least we hope they will be. So they're figuring they got a strike to win. Swung it. And knocked the 10-pin out. Out to the drive.
Came back nicely. Soutar with the double of his own. And interesting thing about Dave is he lost in match play this week. He was 11 and 13.
Here's the timing. Trying to get it in there quicker. Now watch at the pivot step. Is the ball still going up? See, it's still slightly late. But it was later than before. I mean, it's earlier now than it had been. In the past, it was even later than that.
Finishes this year 46th, 90th, and 36th. And this guy is an ABC and PBA Hall of Famer. He was not happy with the way he was playing.
Ooh, he throw that one pretty. And Judy approves.
One of the all-time greats in ladies professional bowling, Judy Soutar.
And, of course, she knows the sport of bowling, so when they discuss things, it's not like all wise, but she knows from experience.
Mm-hmm. They were close throughout the week, and now they're tied after 3 frames. And interestingly enough, Teata Semiz went home after Escondido. Did not plan on bowling this week and got some good advice from the home front.
No, Denny, I didn't. I went home after Escondido. I wasn't very happy with my bowling. But when I got home, my wife and son Tommy told me to come on one more time. So my son Tommy also drove me a ball and got out here. I used the ball, and here I am. Can't believe it.
He's trying to believe 4 in a row. Ooh, trip 4 action.
7 shots, 7 strikes. Will it ever end?
Yes, it will. About the 6th or 7th board. Watch the 2-pin, 3rd from the left. Gets both the 4 and the 7. And his reaction. Ooh, thank you.
Soutar trying to even the match, and he does. Of course, I had a chance to watch the highest scoring PBA event of all time right at this bowling center. Back in the early 80s, Tommy Baker went absolutely berserk here.
Average 247. In that tournament, there was a tie of 300. Was it Pete Weber? Trying to remember who the other one was.
I'm going to say either Baker himself or maybe Wayne Webb.
For 5. Light. Hit it. It did, but didn't knock it over. Got it into the oil quick, and it slid, and the 8-10. Watch it. It hits about the 6th or 7th board, maybe the 7th or 8th. It's not biting enough. Now it starts to bite. Watch it deflect. And the 5 goes right in front of the 8.
So the first open here in the opening match. After a pocket hit, Soutar leaves the 8-10. And now Teata Semiz, who leads, having sat on the bench, will try and increase it.
Just keeps throwing them in there, doesn't he?
Why are you so surprised? I told you they were going to do nothing but strike.
Yeah, well, they were struggling a little bit at the end of the practice session, but maybe the guys were just feeling them out, and instead of the lights coming on and making them do worse, they're doing better.
Teata, with the first 5, leads by 24. 3 300 games this week. John Handegard and Gene Stus both had 300s.
Handegard also had a 299.
Teata for the halfway point, and he trips him out with a wall shot. So Teata Semiz perfect through 6 frames here at the Celebrity Sports Center in the Mile High City, which is where Tita is right now.
If you're into looking good, get into Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up, never let you down.
Everything else is just a light. Everything else is just a light. Everything else is just a light. Everything else.
There's no guarantee that two heads are better than one, that diamonds are a girl's best friend, or that practice makes perfect. But there's one guarantee you can always count on, the new McDonald's guarantee. Our promise of hot food, fast, friendly service, and drive-through orders double-checked to be right. If not, we'll make it right, or your next meal is on us.
What you want is what you get.
Some things in life are guaranteed.
At McDonald's today.
The championship round finals of the $80,000 Rocky Mountain Senior Open is being brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Soutar in the sixth, trying to bounce back, and he does. Question is he too far behind at this stage?
Well, 34 pins when the other guy's throwing nothing but X's. You gotta start thinking, boy, I gotta take it out the sheet. If he takes it out the sheet, means strike out. He wind up with 266. That may not be enough.
Are you going to be able to explain to me why the scores are so high here in the Mile High City?
Well, the lane condition was very good, very professional. Has to hurry. Ooh, nice carry action there. When he goes around that a little bit, actually what the lane men did this week is in the cleaning of the lane. They didn't clean the lane so it was absolutely squeaky clean. There's a kind of a film left. So when you oil it, you don't get this violent skid hook reaction. You get a more even arc to the ball. And they attributed that to one reason why the scores were better this week.
Plenty left. And another wall shot. 7 in a row. Just 2 weeks ago, Gene Stus became the first senior in PBA history to shoot 300 in the championship round.
Watch the action here. The head pin goes, clips the 2, 4, 5, 7's up there. They dance around, fighting with one another to go down, and the 7 pin finally decides to fall. He didn't really like the way he threw that one.
It's that magic ball that Tommy drilled up.
With that pitch in the thumb hole.
Drilled it up for Father's Day. Tita trying to stay alert in the pocket. Was worried about that one when he let it go. And Teata Semiz has the first 8.
Seeing Soupy is sitting there staring, you know, I could strike twice more and shoot 266 and come up a loser here. He has to strike. I mean, he's down 44 pins and he struck 6 out of 7 frames.
But that has been the story this week.
Will they hit it? Yes.
Messenger comes over, takes out the 10, and Dave Soutar was off to a very slow start, but then his good buddy Dave Davis came out on the senior tour and helped him a little bit with his physical game.
Yes, my old roommate, Dave Davis, who now is a rookie on the senior tour, he watched me bowl the last few weeks. I haven't been doing too good, and he straightened me out. He told me why my swing was late, and I worked on it when I came here to Denver, and I told Judy Saturday morning that I was going to bowl good this week, and fortunately, here I am.
And if it hadn't been for an 8-10 in the 5th frame, we might have 2 players trying to shoot a perfect game. Well, look at this. Pins tripping out all over the place.
Well, we've had 8 out of 16 out of 17 strikes. As the 2 gets both the 4 and the 7, spins around and taps it out. Can it happen 2 weeks out of 3?
Sure. Tita thinks it can. Oh, did you see the 6 whistle around the 10?
He got it into the oil, went a little straight, and he kind of stood up and said he was looking at the 10 pin all the way then. He watch the other way. Watch it here. We'll see the 6 really never got close to that 10. See him standing up. He's looking at it all the way.
At the 10, no problem. So Teata Semiz gives the fans a thrill. Had them on the edge of their seats for the first 8 frames. Now, if he strikes out, it'll be a game of 279.
But he hasn't won the game yet. He needs 9 spare 9 to ensure victory.
That sounds pretty ridiculous.
Hey. When your opponent's shooting a potential 260, you haven't necessarily won yet. Even though Tita's shooting in the 260s also.
Another 10 pin, so after an 8-bagger, a pair of corner pins stand.
Needs the spare.
John Hricsina has qualified 3rd, John Handegard number 2, and the new Superman on the senior tour, Gene Stus, is our top qualifier this week.
Yeah, if you said that somebody whose last name begins with S was going to win this tournament, the odds would be with you for tonight.
Boy, how'd you like to start with the first 8 and need 9 to close the guy out?
Well, Soutar last night started with the first 9 and lost the game.
That'll teach you.
Needs 9 pins.
Got it way right. And it hooked all the way back. So there is indeed some area with which to work on this pair of lanes.
268, the best Dave can get. If he strikes out, is 266. And you asked the question back in the 5th frame, was it too late? Yes, it was. Was he too far behind? He was.
Fans have really had a field day watching the pros this week as Dave Soutar leaves the 10 pin. And, of course, coming up tomorrow night, ESPN's Major League Baseball schedule has the Cardinals and the Reds tangling at 7:30. And then, of course, the backup game, Don Mattingly will lead the New York Yankees against the California Angels tomorrow night on ESPN. Soutar, with a very fine performance, comes up a little short.
Just one shot that he didn't get the lift in the roll and got it a little left and paid the ultimate penalty. He wouldn't have minded so much if it had just been the 8 or the 10, but the 2 of them together were trouble.
Dave Soutar and Teata Semiz have battled through many, many years. Tonight, Teata ends up with the victory. And when we come back, Mike Durbin will have an average builder concerning the hand release.
I'm looking at it. What a great year for Bonneville. America's best sedan, according to Motor Week. A Consumer's Digest Best Buy. Kiplinger's named it best in its class and best new car. The 92 Bonneville. It's going to be a tough act to follow.
Now get a GMAC Smart Buy and pay just $2.99 a month for a new 92 Pontiac Bonneville. $2.99 a month. Bonneville closeout. Hurry for best selection. See your Pontiac Pacesetters.
Buy one now? Absolutely.
Don't be bored by the same old lunch routine. Dine outdoors on Thursdays this summer at the Downtown Elizabethtown Lunch Series. Every Thursday is a treat of taste and tunes with a variety of live entertainment from noon until 1. And lunch will be offered from 11:30 until 1:30 on the square at the corner of Market and East High Streets. Sponsored by Elizabethtown Central Business District Commission. The Downtown Elizabethtown Lunch Series. It's the cool way to enjoy a Thursday summer lunch.
Average Builders is brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of the free pie in July deal.
For this week's Average Builder, I thought I'd like to talk about one of the most important aspects of the sport of bowling, and that is the hand release. Now, there's a lot of different ideas on how to get a proper hand release. Some people feel that I should have my hand right straight behind the ball with my fingers at 6 o'clock, and as I let it go, I rotate the fingers around to 3 o'clock. Other people believe, again, that I should have the fingers at 6, and as I let it go, I rotate my wrist through the ball in kind of a cupped wrist action like this. And still others think that the fingers should be back around over here around 7 or 8 o'clock, and I turn around the ball to maybe 5 or 4 o'clock. But almost everybody agrees, no matter what hand release I use, that I need to get my thumb out of the ball first in order to have an effective hand release like so that the fingers can impart force to the bowling ball. Now, to demonstrate that for us tonight, we have a newcomer on the senior tour. He's from San Jose, California, Sam Lavelle. Sam, come on in. Sam, you've created quite a stir so far in 4 weeks on the senior tour. Everybody's talking about your hand release. How did you develop that tremendous hand release you have?
Well, I originally was a full roller, Mike, and as I transitioned to the three-quarter roll, I realized when I wasn't carrying that one of the main reasons was I wasn't getting my thumb out of the ball, and it created a lot of inconsistencies. So I made an issue to get the thumb out first.
Lots of practice?
Many years of practice. Anybody that knows me in San Jose knows I practice on a regular basis.
Okay, Sam, you threw a shot earlier. We're going to take a look at that shot now in 2 different speeds. Here we are in just kind of slow motion speed, and watch as Sam lets the ball go. If we can see it in this speed, the thumb comes out and the fingers lift the bowling ball or impart force to it. Now, that may have been too fast for many of us to see, so here's a stop action viewpoint right here. Thumb is out, fingers imparting force to the bowling ball, and the ball goes over the foul line by the force that those fingers imparted to the ball. Sam, that looked like a pretty good hand release.
Well, it was pretty good, and it's probably one of the first times I've seen it, actually. But I'm out here and having a lot of fun. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. You remember, if you want to improve your hand release, you have to do like Sam does. Get that thumb out of the ball first so the fingers can impart force to it. Remember to practice, too. We'll see you again next week from Beaumont, Texas, when we'll have another average builder. And if you have trouble in the meantime, see your local PBA pro.
And let's take a look at the rest of the top 24. John Hatz, one of the local players, just missing in 6. Don Johnson bowled 2 great games to finish and ended up 7th.
It's amazing how it went. Nelson Burton in the finals again, and there's Sam Lavelle.
Number 10 this week, Chuck Thompson and the great one, Dick Weber, back in the finals.
Local guy Tom Carbone and John Greco, 2nd finals in a row.
Getting used to it now. James Brenner, 14th, and Boyd Hayden was 15th this week.
And Hobo Booth, he's there every week, and Ron Winger with 3 in a row in the finals.
In the 18th spot, it was Dick Stevens, and Carl Austin, who was 19th.
And Bill Bonney in these 2nd straight finals, and Del Boyce making his 1st finals in a while.
And rounding out the top 24, Rich Bouvier and also J.D. Blaylock.
And Bud Grooms was stronger than everybody else, and super senior Doug Johnson was alternate.
He's never going to quit striking, I can tell you that right now. Teata Semiz smiling, and the reason why is he shot a .260 game to open things up. He'll take on John Hricsina when we return to Denver.
John, how you doing? You know, AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts. And also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion. And you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
People don't stay at La Quinta Inns just because of the free local calls. Well, it's definitely a topic of conversation. Call 1-800-531-5900. La Quinta Inns, America's hotel value. This is La Quinta Inn's new money-saving Super Value Rates coupon. If you can't find one, just tell them you saw it on TV. Call La Quinta and ask for the new Super Value Rates from $34.50.
Like new blue jeans and old memories, some things were made to fade, but not Dutch boy, not the kid, not on your life, no way, Jose, gonna stick with you right and clear, year after year, some things were made to fade away, but not Dutch boy, ooh, we gotta look that last, we got some girls that we got
ESPN Home Video presents Practical Jokes on the Pros, a home video featuring baseball, basketball, and football stars that you'll watch over and over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, yeah? The hilarious Practical Jokes on the Pros.
Teata Semiz had 9 strikes in the opener. Dave Soutar with 8. Highest scores. Yes, we expected them, and we have them. 268 to 244. And now John Hricsina, who would love to see a high score, stands up with an opening shot on lane 61.
After the last 2 weeks, where he's been doing just that, not being able to get the ball in the 1-3 pocket. Shot 153 and 166 the last 2 weeks, and I know John's embarrassed over that. He's amazingly resilient because he keeps coming back and making telecasts. This is his 10th telecast of his last 13 senior tournaments.
Well, going from 18th to 3rd in the final 8 games of a tournament, I mean, that may be the all-time best run I've ever seen. And what does he do? He comes out and takes the 2 and the 4 off the 5, hands Teata Semiz a gift, and you don't give Tito those kind of breaks.
Amazing, too, because he shot it from the left. He threw almost a backup ball. He threw it 100 miles an hour and still didn't make it.
The woes continue for John Hricsina. Will Tito take advantage? He tried to.
Well, he carried everything for 8 frames in the first game, and now it's 3 10-pins in a row.
I think he's telling himself to stay down a little bit at the line. Has a tendency to raise up just a touch.
Yeah, as we all do.
Especially when you're throwing it well. You know it's coming off your hand. You got a good shot. You got plenty of area.
That's Gene Stus's big thing that he fights against, too, is staying down and not coming up too soon.
John Handegard, Gene Stus, still left to go. That's the 1-2 punch on the senior tour.
It was a tremendous battle watching those two last night as they just outdistanced the field but couldn't separate themselves from one another.
And they really haven't all year.
No. Except for Las Vegas is the only one.
Tito back in the pocket, this time with a light hit variety type strike on lane 61.
John's problems on television seem to be getting that big hook lined up. When he throws it too wide, it bites too quick and goes high. And then when he moves in a little bit, it hits the oil early and skids out is when he left that 245.
Beautiful shot there with a strike on 62. And I asked John, what are you going to try and do tonight to turn things around?
Well, I think I'm going to have to be more aggressive. Everybody tells me I'm throwing it too slow. And I'm going to have to make better moves. Last week I didn't move quick enough. I think I could have bowled better if I'd have moved to the right, but we'll see what happens tonight.
And with a double here, could close the gap.
It's a very important shot to me right now early in the match for his confidence.
Left the 245 the last trip, got a handful this time, and gets a break. John's probably figuring that's the first time something good has happened in ages.
He slowed the speed down a little bit and went around a little bit more on this left lane. But still, at that, it didn't finish flush as the 6-pin slides off, and then he gives it the old love tap for the double.
Tito trying to answer the challenge, and is it me, or when you get it a couple of boards right, does it end up being a better shot?
Well, it finishes harder because it's slightly drier out there. But unlike last week, because of that base film on the cleaning, as we see Tito up by 11 pins, it doesn't overreact. So you throw it a little wide, it winds up going into the 1-3 pocket instead of through the 1-2-3 nose.
Mm-hmm. For 3 in a row.
He likes his pair, doesn't he, Dem? Average 244 on it. And he's adding to that average with 268 the first game.
Tito may decide to move out here to Denver, Colorado if this continues.
Mr. Hurry.
You're saying that because that ball was a little left to begin with and into the oil?
Right. He has enough fingers to make it finish at the back end and enough turn, but it just still, because it started in the oil, it finished with a little less power than Tito's shot that you noticed went a little further right.
I think he needs a little more speed on those spares.
Yeah. He's throwing it at about almost 18 miles per hour. on the first ball at the Sparrows, it has to be over 20. The controlled swing, the determined look on the face, the short backswing, there's the power pivot step and the long slide, and just turns the living daylights out of it.
Has forearms like a blacksmith. Well, he really greased this shot. Got it into the oil. Look at that. The 6-pin tried to kick out the 10. If you're going to play in the oil, let me just toss this out. Then would you go with the duller surface bowling ball?
He tried it in practice.
Hooked too much?
No, actually, this ball reacted better. It hooked more at the back end of the lane than the duller. You would think the dull ball would be the thing, but he tried it in practice. See, the problem is if he moves out to where Tita is and tries to line up off Tita, his ball will grab much quicker and go right to the heart of the pins, or even Brooklyn.
Tita with a re-rack on lane 62 is on a 3-bagger and leads by 23. Such a pretty bowler when he's in stroke, isn't he?
And he's a classy bowler. I mean, he seems to make all the right moves. He knows when to get excited and when to let it just kind of ride along smoothly. He's an impressive individual, always. You know, he's a great golfer, too.
Looking for his 7th senior title. He already has more victories than any player in PBA's senior history. Whenever you see Tita go down on one knee, you know that he's really throwing a good shot.
And the confidence is just building. He's throwing it better and better and better.
Another strike for Teata Semiz. He has a 5-bagger and a comfortable lead here in match number 2.
Here's another great reason to switch to Pizza Hut delivery. Free pie in July.
Free pie in July. Free pie in July.
Get a free medium single topping pizza when you buy a large pepperoni lovers, meat lovers, or supreme pizza at regular price.
Free pie in July.
Free pie in July. So make the switch to Pizza Hut. It's gonna be a great summer.
Free pie in July at Pizza Hut.
When a muffler goes, some people look for a cheap replacement. They think it costs less. Fact is, they can get a quality Midas muffler starting at $24.95. Fact is, a guaranteed economizer muffler starting at $24.95. Fact is, installed by experts starting at $24.95. So when somebody says they have a cheaper muffler than Midas, they're right. When they say they're better, fact is, they're wrong. Don't believe anybody ever beats Midas.
The nightmare has yet to end. Back into the buzzsaw for John Hricsina. Teata Semiz leads by 43.
Yeah. They love bowling big games against John. Now, he got that out a little bit more, seeing it overreacts and goes a little bit high. He's caught between the devil and the deep blue sea there. In 1991, he lost to games of 247, 258, 223, 257, 256, 203, and 270. And he's staring at 5 in a row here. I mean, he's saying, will it ever end?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Because Tita's on line right now to shoot another big game.
He takes it out 290.
All John can do is buckle down and keep throwing strikes. Beautiful double. Comes back nice. But he's waiting for Tita to make a mistake.
Exactly. He's in that position. Tita has to make a mistake for him to have a chance. There we see the 17-point. He's been steady at that, bellying at about 4 boards. Nice even arc, especially on that left lane. Tita's just a machine right now. A solid 10, or we'd be staring at another potential 300.
Tita opened with the first 8 strikes in game number 1 before he left a ringing 10-pin in the 9th frame. Now he's got the opposite kind of a game going.
See, right now, he's got 6 in a row, Dan, which means that if he stays clean the rest of the game, he's going to be in the 240s. The best John Hricsina can get if he strikes out is 247.
One more strike here puts Tita in a no-lose situation, I would think.
Oh,
He's also carried the house, too, Mike. He's got the light hit, the trip of the 4, the tug shot. When he throws a good one, it's flush.
And he's got a couple wallies in there, too. So he's had everything, right. All his stuff was he left 3 10-pins, and the rest have all been strikes. He had 9 strikes the first game, and he's already got 7 this game.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, John Hricsina just filling frames, and if not anything else, this could be a confidence builder if he can finish on a high note.
He's such a competitor, though. He hates losing, and he keeps losing. If he loses this game, it's going to be 8 in a row on television.
And 11 of the last 12.
Ooh.
That's ugly.
That's ugly. Got that in the oil a little more. See, and it didn't make it back.
Confused, disappointed. I think maybe the next time around I'd come in all Kelly Green.
See, he gets this one a little left, right over about the second arrow, and just keeps sliding. Breaks too late. 2-4-5.
This time he zeroes in on the 2-4-5, but he's also zeroing in on a 4th place finish.
A little bit slower. See, he started it in at the 10th board rather than the 9th. He just made the mistake of 1 board further left, and it skidded further down the lane. He bellied it out to 6.5 like he did the time before.
Another strike for Teata, and as I look over to the practice chair, he's waving to you and I. John Hricsina and Gene Stus both pause every time Teata gets up to throw another shot.
Well, hey, they know what this guy can do. Now, he was doing this in the fall in a place called Lady Lake where we had a senior tournament, and Handegard stopped him.
It had to be a knockout punch because
250 to 250.
Teata's got it going as he waltzes into another victory. 1 more strike, and it's a game of 290. And, of course, coming up later on this evening on SportsCenter, a complete wrap-up of the British Open. And I am told at this point in time that Ray Floyd and Steve Pate are tied at 7 under par. So the wind obviously wasn't blowing. The scoring conditions were good. And before it's all said and done, that'll be a real battle. Keith Oberman and Dan Patrick standing by on SportsCenter tonight. So join those two gentlemen for all the scores and all the highlights. Teata did not strike on the final shot.
But counting his position round game, which was 279, his last 3 games have been 279, 268, 279. Not bad.
And if you're Handegard, it doesn't make any difference what pair you make this, or what lane you make this guy finish on, because he's striking on both of them.
Yes. You just pick your best lane and finish on it. That's all.
That's how you flip it around. And the telephone numbers continue to flash in front of the eyes of John Hricsina. That's the highest one of all right there, 279. Incredible how this guy is able to, each and every week, though, look deep down inside and keep getting back to the telecast.
Yesterday was his anniversary, and he lost 7 out of the 8 games in the morning, shot over 100 over for the block, and wanted to do something special for his anniversary, so he comes out at night and wins all 8 games and averages 253.
Win or lose, you know that she's behind him all the way.
She was sick early this week.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And wound up spending Monday night in the hospital, and John got no sleep that night, and she had a little trouble with the altitude and an anxiety problem. Hopefully she's fine now.
I'll tell you one thing, when the floodgates open for John Hricsina, this guy is going to win some tournaments big time because he is overdue. The final score, 279 to 207. Hricsina finishes 4th. And, of course, the seniors are finishing up for a while here, but next week, Mike and I will be down there at Crossroads Bowling Center in Beaumont, Texas, for the Beaumont PBA Doubles Classic, which is live on Thursday night beginning at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. And, of course, the seniors We'll be back starting August 6th with that Senior Touring Bro Doubles Championship from O'Fallon, Illinois. Then it's on to the Ebonite PBA Senior Championship at one of my favorite bowling centers in Cheektowaga, New York, Thruway Lanes. Then it's the Hammer Naples PBA Senior Open down in sunny South Florida. And then, of course, Jerry Krause and his crew are excited to have ESPN on board for the Pinellas Suncoast PBA Senior Open, which will air on ESPN October 14th in Seminole, Florida. Mike and I are looking forward to head down in that direction. When we come back, we have two of the outstanding players, and this man right here, the top seed, yet to go from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado.
Football fans, here it comes. Sports Illustrated gets you ready for the excitement of NFL football in this amazing new video. The 1992 Pro Football Spectacular, an action-packed preview of the 92 season. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to capture all the action and emotion of sports every week. Sports Illustrated's free video preview will put you in places you've never been before.
Stay at home if you don't want to get hit.
You'll not only get the best of last season, Sports Illustrated will give you their view of which teams could be next year's champions.
If I were to pick one right now, I'd say the Dallas Cowboys.
And who is the best coach, the best running back, and the quarterback you want in the clutch.
He's a great quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Starting today. Call this toll-free number now and get a spectacular 44-minute preview of the 92 NFL season. Free from Sports Illustrated. I love you, Mom. Plus, you'll get a second video free with your paid subscription. Sports Illustrated will give you the NFL video of your favorite team, no matter which team you prefer. Pick any one of the 28 team videos. It's your choice, and it's a free choice from Sports Illustrated. Your team video will take you through the 91 season from end zone to end zone, from the sidelines to the locker room. Plus, you'll find out what's new for 92.
Anybody nervous? Anybody scared?
Get your 2 free videos, then 30 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.49 an issue. Save 50% off the cover price. Call now to subscribe or renew and experience football from a different angle with Sports Illustrated and your 2 free videos. The Pro Football Spectacular, plus the NFL team video of your choice. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. With your 2 free videos, you'll catch the best of the year, and you'll keep the excitement coming your way every week in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Have you seen who's been on Speed Week? Speed Week starts off the Thunder every Saturday night. Catch us this Saturday at 7:30 Eastern, live from Pocono, site of NASCAR's Pocono 500. You've got the need for Speed Week.
Teata Semiz a bit redundant. 8 more strikes in game number 2 as he ends up winning 279 to 207. And a guy who knows lots about striking is standing by now with Mike Durbin, and that's, of course, our tournament leader, Gene Stus.
Thank you, Danny. You do know about striking, don't you? Just a couple of weeks ago, we got to talk about it. We're going to have that video of that 12th shot that you won $100,000 on. Tell us what you were thinking as you got up to throw that shot.
Well, Mike, I was surprised. I was very relaxed. I shot more than normal. The whole TV show was just completely relaxed, and all I felt was I had plenty of room on that lane, and I just wanted to get it in the zone and hope it carried. And it did.
What went through your mind as soon as you saw all 10 in the pit?
I don't know, Mike. I just was so excited. I jumped up in the air, and I didn't know what to think. I was just so excited.
Okay. Now you've shot it. It's $100,000 and all that. How's your life changed since that game has happened?
Oh, everybody's coming up to me. Everybody here is celebrity. They're congratulating me on my 300. It was just sensational. And the bowlers are respecting me a little bit more. And I hope it does more for the senior tour.
Lots of press coverage?
A lot of press coverage. Radio stations calling me. I was on the radio this morning. I mean, back home, they can't wait for me to get home. Everybody wants to talk to me.
Okay. You're the point leader for the first 4 weeks. That means that you're going to go and bowl the winner of the Choice Hotels Summer Classic, winner take all, $25,000 on Saturday. What are your feelings about that match?
Well, he's going to have the advantage. I mean, he's been bowling there all week, and he's going to be having the TV finals. But anything can happen in one game.
Okay. What about tonight? Tito seems to be a striking machine. How have you been able to concentrate with everything happening and lead this tournament so far?
Well, I'm bowling real well now, Mike. My arm swing is really free, and I'm trying to keep it that way. And I think that's why I got my confidence is up, my arm swing's free, and when that happens, I can throw some strikes too.
You like this pair?
Well, I shot 185 in match play yesterday, but that was me making those bad adjustments. That's all.
Good luck to you tonight.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. And we're going to find out whether Teata Semiz can keep on striking. John Handegard derailed him back in October. Don't go away. We'll find out if he can do it again.
Where to find the mountain man? A mountain man can often be found on the trail of adventure, in search of remote watering holes, or weathering harsh climates. Most often, however, you'll find the mountain man wherever you find smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and find yourself in the wide, open world of the mountain man.
So, you're thinking about going to the video store to rent a movie tonight. Well, it might be hot outside, or it could be raining, maybe a freezing rain, or a tornado. What if there's a blizzard, or a hurricane, a swarm of locusts, killer bees from Mexico? Let's face it, there are nights when you really hate to go out. Relax. With pay-per-view, you've got the hottest movies delivered to your home. All you have to do is call.
Why rent it? You've got it. Pay-per-view.
The 50-yard indoor war. The rock and roll fury of arena football.
And a look at the beautiful trophy that will be awarded along with $8,000 in first place prize money to the winner this week. Whoever wins this game will get a chance to face Stus.
Handegard must like the right lane better because he's chosen to start the match, which means that even if he strikes on this ball, he can be behind right away because Tito could go off with a double.
Right away misses the pocket and gets a major league break that the two didn't have company in the 10-pin.
You know, it was interesting. We talked to the different players, and some of the players felt the left lane hook more, and some of the players felt the right lane hook more. The way that ball reacted, he tried to circle that left lane as though he thinks that one hooks more.
Cross lane, no problem. As we take a look at our Brunswick bowler track, which we're using tonight only on the left-hand lane, lane 61.
And again, basically the same speed as Tito and even Hricsina, but he's not bellying as much as Hricsina. But that's a little bit more than John wants to. He's a more direct player. He goes pretty straight.
The break didn't affect Mr. Semiz in any way, shape, or form.
Well, he has super confidence in both lanes. Like you say, you can't pick one that there we are, 10 and 9. I mean, I would have thought that he was hitting the right lane slightly better, but that shows it's the left lane, so.
Just in dead stroke right now on a pair of lanes that he loves. For John Handegard, all you have to do is figure out how to beat a guy that's averaging 273.5 on this pair of lanes in the championship round.
Well, you can't have too many spares.
Well, Tito has one spare a game.
Yeah, right, but he's usually ahead by 50 when he gets that one.
Ooh, good comeback strike for John Handegard on lane 62.
The familiar style of John Handegard, four-step player, pushes and steps, the free swing right from the shoulder, short backswing, shoulder high, nice long slide. Look at how steady the head is. Now watch how square he is and the follow-through. That's exactly how you like to teach it, or at least how we used to teach it. Needs this one. Ooh, knocked out that 10.
Cool stare from the handyman as he heads back to the bench. Look at Tito taking his good old time as Tito re-racks on lane 62. Alan Kulwicki will be the man to beat as the Pocono 500 comes up on Sunday. It begins at noon Eastern time on ESPN. He's the defending champ, and that's one of the toughest, most competitive races of the entire season. And speaking of tough competitors, Teata Semiz hammers out another strike.
He just says, you know, this is easy, guys. Whack, 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 whack. You have to hope if you're his opponent, you know, that he's going to leave a solid 8 or a solid 9 or something, you know, because he doesn't leave hardly any 10s.
I've been kidding Tito. If they all throw a lot of strikes tonight and we have an extra 4 or 5 minutes at the end of the telecast, then I'm going to have him sing My Way.
He does it very
well. Wonderful voice. Oh, yeah. Almost as good as Frank Sinatra. Stood up on that shot, got it into the oil, and that's the first really errant shot that we've seen Tito throw tonight.
And, you know, he has a slightly controlled swing. And what he's talking about is he rushed it here. Left of target. See, it's in around 7th or 8th board, sliding, not biting the lane. It never went into a roll, then. Never precessed and went into a roll. See, 18.4. That's because it stayed in the oil all the time.
See how he handles the spare. Hasn't shot many tonight, but he did so nicely. Yeah, you can see the skid marks on lane 61 after that shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he went right over the guardrail there.
Handegard has to take advantage of that, though. That's what match game play is all about. Has to hurry. Boy, the same thing. Got it in the oil quick, and it slid.
I guess my question to you is, do they know that?
Sure, he knows that. Absolutely. I mean, they can see the reaction of the ball and they can feel as they let it go. You know when you let it go, Dan. There's a feel that you know you're slightly left.
Oh, restart for Handegard, who was disrupted.
Well, somebody dropped something over on the side. Last week he had to stare at a cameraman coming back from behind the curtain.
Let's clarify that. A still photographer. It wasn't one of our folks.
Has to hurry. Does it.
Very nice for John Handegard, who is off to a brilliant start. He hasn't won, and I ask him, are you disappointed thus far in 1992?
No, I'm not. I'm just tickled to death to make it. Last week I made a couple bad shots early in the game, but when it come down to when I needed to make a shot, I made it as good as I could, and 10-pin didn't go, so I'm not disappointed. I feel like I'm bowling well. And at any time, they could turn around. Who knows? I might make a terrible shot and get a strike. Maybe I'll win that way. But when it comes right down to throwing the ball well when I need it, I have a lot of faith in myself, and I don't feel bad about it at all.
The difference between those two shots is he got that out to the dry area, out there where it's going to bite the lane and roll back to the pocket. 7.5 to about 5. That's about a 2.5 board belly is what he wants.
Tito leading by 9 in the 5th frame, a little more direct into the oil, and now Tito has thrown back-to-back shots a little left. Now my question to you, are the lanes changing a little bit?
I don't think so. Both of those shots, Tito's talking to himself. He made the same mistake twice, and that's that he wants to stay behind. He wants to come through with a gentle stroke, and he's forcing it from the top of the swing. It's kind of like he's grabbing it from the top of the swing and forcing it down rather than letting gravity pull that ball down.
Nice conversion of the 2-4-5, but it's the first time this evening that Tito has gone 2 frames without striking.
2 frames in a row without hitting the 1-3 pocket.
Good point. Let's see if he gets this ball a little further right. Now you can see him mentally going through the checklist. All right, don't hit that thing from the top of the swing.
Now he's pointing at something. I'm trying to figure out what he's pointing to. His ball did not come back. Here it comes.
Tough to throw a strike if you don't have the hardware.
Yeah. Unless you're like that TV commercial with the guy sliding down the lane.
Did you ever try that?
No, I never did.
Huh. It's a 6-pin match. Well, that one went right at the target, came back, tries to tickle out the 7, but doesn't quite get the job done.
And you see how fragile and how mental bowling is. I mean, he's cruising along, going along, makes a couple errant shots, and suddenly the confidence level drops from like a 9 to a 6.5 or something. Two and a half forward belly. He got it right at the first arrow. That's what he wants.
Spare up in the 6th frame for Teata Semiz, but John Handegard is back to within 5. He is on a strike, and if he strikes again, we'll take the lead when we come back.
When you play the game and you're looking good, there's a Bud Light way and it's understood.
If you're into looking good, get into Bud Light. Clean, fresh taste won't fill you up, never let you down.
You can taste it, feel it, know you got it right. There's everything else. It's just a light. Just a light. Bud Light. Just a light. Just a light. Just a light.
There's no guarantee that what goes up must come down. That it takes two to tango, or that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But there's one guarantee you can always count on, the new McDonald's guarantee. Our promise of hot food, fast, friendly service, and drive-through orders double-checked to be right. If not, we'll make it right, or your next meal is on us.
What you want is what you get.
Some things in life are guaranteed.
Well, after Tito opened with 3 in a row, I don't think Handegard thought that he would catch him maybe until the late stages, but if he strikes here, he goes ahead.
Needs to circle it. Did too much. See, that's the fine line. He's light the last time. He did not move his feet then. He threw it further right, but if he's going to throw it out there, he's got to keep that speed up. For him, it appears that this right lane is hooking slightly quicker than the left.
Two different types of shots, too, because Handegard's ball is almost rolling out in the pocket, whereas Tita's ball is not.
No.
Ooh. Handyman waves it off and says no problem whatsoever. And, of course, coming up, we've got semifinal round action and the championship round of the 1992 U.S. Amateur Public Links Championship. And that is a very unusual type of a golf event featuring a lot of the players that grew up on the municipal golf courses around the country, and some great players have won that tournament. You'll enjoy it. Handegard sticks badly and strikes anyway. Ooh, boy, that was dangerous.
You know, in practice, Denny, there was something on the bottom of Tita's shoe that they wiped up 2 or 3 times that caused the players to stick, as we see him almost go over the foul line. Watch this, how violently he stops. Just shows the strength of his game. The ball still went to target and struck. A little more circle.
Yeah, much better shot, and this one rolls up and through the nose. Now you want to get confused.
Right. Now they're starting to get a slight, the overreaction that we talk about. You get it in and it slides, you get it right and it hooks, but mainly on the right lane. Same thing happened to Handegard. So it'll be interesting to see how they adjust. I would think Tita's way would be to pick up the speed on the right lane. Still try and circle it, but pick up the speed.
Picks up the spare. Gene Stus is the top seed. He's waiting in the wings to take on either Teata Semiz or John Handegard for the title here of the Rocky Mountain Senior Open.
And it's down to a 3-pin match. Handegard keeps holding count by striking on the left lane, and Tita 4 spares in a row.
I would have bet your life that he couldn't go 4 frames without throwing a strike.
My life. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Right. Well.
Nice even arc that time. Got it out to about the 4th board, about a 2.5 board belly, and it arced right back. There's the speed, 17.4, 2 board belly. And the 5th board, not the 4th. See what Handegard does here now. Light and high. He's got to make the right adjustment. More speed, more loft. And 10 pins. You see, that's one of the things that people don't notice about John Handegard that he's been doing so well lately. You saw that adjustment. Watch how far he gets the ball over the line. Now, that was intentional, then. He did not move again. His only adjustment was he picked up the speed slightly and lofted it slightly more.
And in lofting the ball,
it delayed the roll.
So the hook point was later.
And he got 10 pins. Put it in the pocket instead of through the nose. And will he get up there? Yes. Pretty shot. Pretty shot. But he's still sticking on that left lane. He's fighting that. But he doesn't have to bowl on it anymore. Tito's in a situation now. He's got a strike. He's done 17 pins. First time he's been behind. How will he react?
Needs a good shot. And doesn't quite get the messenger over to the 10.
Amazing how quickly it went. For 2 games and 3 frames, he looked unbeatable. Now he has to strike out as we see the replay. See the ball deflect and the 5-8 barely get out of there. The 6 tried to get up to get the 10, but the ball was weak all the way. Trouble. No, he got it back.
Really a brilliant performance by Teata Semiz. One has to wonder if he's just kind of running out of gas at this point.
I don't think so. I think he just was fighting himself a little bit and then lost the feel just slightly, ever so slightly. He's still not out of this match. He can strike it out for 221 and make Handegard mark in the 10th frame.
Beautiful shot by Tito with a strike in the 10th, a couple more, and at least John Handegard will have to show up in the 10th frame.
You know, back in 1968, Tito was bowling in Denver here in another bowling center, was bowling Billy Hardwick. Billy Hardwick was in this situation. He had to strike out to make Tito mark to win the tournament. And Billy struck out and Tito left the 8-10.
And it was just yet another title for the wonder, Billy Hardwick.
Pretty shot. Handy's up to it, though.
Of course, John Handegard doesn't remember that. Back in 1968, Mike Connor flew in a couple of minutes ago to spend some time with us here tonight, the PBA's new commissioner, and took him a while to get here today, but we're glad he's here. Beautiful finish for Teata Semiz, 221. Will it be enough? Teata is hoping so, but the handyman is trying to prove him wrong.
Well, we'll see if he goes with the loft and the speed again on the right lane.
I'll bet he does.
Has to hurry. Oh, that had to be the head pin that came back and got the 10.
The last couple of weeks, he's left 10 pins. Tito knows he bowled awfully well tonight, but just couldn't come up with enough to defeat Handegard.
And Handegard seems to have something over Tito. He did the same thing to him in October.
Funny how that goes.
It is funny, isn't it?
Confidence against certain players and not much against others. There's the loft. There's the reaction. Well, I know one thing right now. He's locked into this pair now. He knows what he needs to do on the right-hand lane, so Gene Stus had better be prepared for a tough title match.
But also going through John's mind is 2 things. He's still sticking on that left lane, and Stus beat him twice in match play here, and he beat him for the title back in Lakewood.
Well, let me ask you this. Won't somebody go out and can't there be maintenance performed on that left-hand lane on the approach?
Well, there can be, but it may not be bothering anyone else but John. It may just be him. When they bowled in qualifying or in match play, John was sticking on the pair and Stus wasn't.
Teata Semiz with a beautiful performance. He ends up 3rd. John Handegard, Gene Stus. That's what a lot of people were looking for in the title match in the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado.
On your mark. Set it.
Summer Games. It could be the experience of a lifetime.
We've just discovered an artifact used by Columbus himself on board the Nina.
That's a mug from Long John Silver's.
Just 99 cents for any meal. I have a complete set. We just discovered a complete set of artifacts.
Go fish, go silver.
Just because you go all out, doesn't mean you got to stink. Not if you're wearing this. And here comes your chance to prove it. And you will, because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
You're looking at her.
Old Spice antiperspirant for great odor protection. You demand proof, not promises.
Excuse me, do you know what stock options are?
I wish I did.
When is the weak dollar good for business? Good? I don't know. The world of finance and investing can be pretty confusing unless you call for this, the Wall Street Journal's video guide to money and markets. It explains the markets in clear, simple English and brings them to life. This exclusive 30-minute video is free when you call for 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $37, over 20% off the newsstand price. Subscribe to the Journal and get a daily view of the whole world of business and how it affects you. Information you know you should know. Call now, and you'll be ready next time someone asks you, are munis always a safe investment? I'm not sure.
Call toll-free 800-332-1800 for 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and your free video on money and markets. That's 800-332-1800.
Championship Brand is brought to you by Midas. For mufflers, brakes, and shocks, nobody beats Midas. Nobody. Teata Semiz, who needed 9 to win, and this came in the 10th frame of game number 1.
And he was wired in the whole game. But he needed 9 on this shot, and Soupy could strike out for 266. He did one better than 9. He got 10.
Fireworks started early on here at Celebrity Sports Center tonight. Teata Semiz started with the first 8 before a 10-pin turned away his bid for a perfect 300 game as he wins 268 to 244. Then it was a 10th frame strike, but he was coasting at this point in match 2.
Well, he had started, had a spare and 8 in a row and was way ahead in the match against John Hricsina, who had another big game bowled against him, and this was just one of many strikes. He was carrying everything this game.
Well, that was almost an instant replay for Teata. 279 to 207. He was averaging 273 after the first 2 games, but ran into problems in match number 3 in the form of John Handegard, who needed a spare in the 10th frame.
And John had trouble on this lane. It had been light and high. He made the adjustment with more speed and more loft. We see the loft. Watch the head pin. Off the sideboard, over to the 10. The message is fall down.
John was hoping for a break to get him past Teata Semiz, and he did so nicely. 248 to 221. When we come back, numero uno, Gene Stus takes on the guy that keeps trying harder. He's been second the last 2 weeks, and he wants to change the scenario here tonight.
When a muffler goes, some people look for a cheap replacement. They think it costs less. Fact is, they can get a quality Midas muffler starting at $24.95. Fact is, a guaranteed economizer muffler starting at $24.95. Fact is, installed by experts starting at $24.95. So when somebody says they have a cheaper muffler than Midas, they're right. When they say they're better, fact is, they're wrong. Don't believe anybody ever beats Midas.
And yet there's still only one place dedicated to giving it your way, and is the #1 maker of chicken sandwiches.
We're the one, not one, but two. We're the one made just for you. Bring taste and chicken on a bun. We're the one. We're the one to give you more. You're the one we're cooking for. Best selling chicken on a bun. We're the one. Your way right away.
At Burger King now.
Just because you go all out, doesn't mean you got to stink. Not if you're wearing this. And here comes your chance to prove it. And you will, because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
You're looking at her.
Old Spice antiperspirant for great odor protection. You demand proof, not promises.
And what better way to end the Rocky Mountain PBA Senior Classic than with the leading money winner and the gentleman who is second, Gene Stus and John Handegard.
And they're the two dominant players on the senior tour. It's fitting. Like I say, there were 400 pins ahead of everybody else in this tournament that these two decided the champion.
Stus playing outside, opens with a wonderful shot and a ringing 10-pin.
Gene, you just watch him, and his whole demeanor and everything just exudes confidence and in his ability and everything that's happening to him. It's not like he's shocked or surprised. He thinks he belongs there and is enjoying it.
A spare up for Stus, and the handyman, John Handegard, pops up quickly, and we'll get ready to shoot on lane 62.
5 and 4, 9 strikes that first game. He's going to need something like that.
Funny loft.
Nice reaction. You know, he did not use this ball all week long, Dan. He whipped it out in the practice balls.
Well, yeah, but that's the contemporary attitude.
Absolutely.
Today is a whole lot different than yesterday.
Now he's been sticking on this left lane. We'll see what happens. In between, he got permission from the tournament director, Rich Weber, to put some powder on the heel as long as he wiped it off and it doesn't leave a residue on the approach. Stuck a little bit again. Right in the pocket, though. He's got to finish in the 10th frame on that lane, too. Stus was watching.
See Gene Stus trying to slow things down a little bit. Went for the wall shot and didn't get it.
Well, you know, he mentioned in the interview that he bowled 185 on this pair. Anytime when you're averaging 235 and you bowl 185 on a pair, it's like an alarm going off on their neon sign saying, trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, all Handegard has done is average 251 on that pair of lanes. Gene Stus, Larry Galloway, and Handegard. I should say Larry is second in the money, and Handegard is third. Handy leading the way. Nelson Burton Jr. just fractions behind Gene Stus, John Hricsina. Boy.
I'm sure that doesn't include this week's averages. Ooh. Came back.
Oh, ye of little faith.
That was his Amleto Monticelli shot as it rolled out at the pocket. The 5-step delivery of Gene Stus. Everything in place. The head steady, smooth going there. Shoulder high, a little higher than shoulder high. Doesn't really get down that far. That's the only weakness I could see in his game is he could get down a little bit more.
The loft, the skid, the roll, the strike for John Handegard.
And with every strike, he increases his lead. It's up to 21, can make it 31 with one more here.
Actually, the loft replaces the skid, doesn't it?
You lost me on that.
Well, isn't it skid, roll, hook?
Well, it's skid, and what actually the ball precesses and turns on its axis and then goes into a roll. And it just delays that precession by lofting it more.
Right. Now he's lofting it on both lanes.
And striking on both lanes.
He's found the magic for this week. Every week it's something different.
And John does that. John changes hand releases. He changes balls. He changes weights. He does it as well as anybody on the senior tour.
Changes clothes. And he has the first four. Gene Stus is on the opposite side of the perfect game spectrum, and he's fighting his way back. Another solid 10. 2 weeks ago, they all fell. Isn't that right, Sally?
You know,
what a wicked game this is.
It is, and you're never satisfied. You always want more. You look at that look on his face. What a competitor he is. I mean, he wants to beat John Handegard as he's waiting for his ball. I mean,
well, he's really labeled a couple shots on this lane.
I know. The money is not the issue here. The issue is who's the best senior player, Handegard or Stus. Trouble.
Oh, and Mistake for Gene Stus, who mumbles to himself. Haven't seen many breakdowns in his game.
You know, it's just a little delay in his routine, and see the shoulders slump. That's the first time I've seen his body English show negative thoughts and everything and self-talk. The break where he had to wait for the ball to come back, and it just kind of threw his concentration off.
Down by 43, and he's behind by a bunch in a hurry. And nothing going right for the man who shot 300 2 weeks ago.
Comes in a little bit high. The 4-pin goes and gets, or the 2-pin goes and gets the 4, hits the 7, but it won't fall over. You know, when things are going good, that falls.
Keep thinking back to what John Handegard said about if I just keep getting there, things will start to turn around. Maybe I'll get the breaks, and he has thus far. From Muirfield Golf Course over in Scotland, second round coverage begins tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Raymond Floyd, Steve Pate, the first round leaders at 7 under par. And, of course, live coverage of the British Open, the third leg in Golf Triple Crown, or I should say, 4 majors. Yeah. This is Lock City right
Lock City is right. You know, you start thinking now, if he asks for a re-rack in this left lane, he bowled 1-300 this week and a 299 where he left a solid 10 on the left lane. As wired as he is, you know, that may be the only suspense left in this match.
I'd take it. 7 years before we saw a 300 on ESPN, at least for me. It was more than that for you, 10 or 11 years.
Right.
Might see another one here before too long.
Well, he's got a long way to go, but John's perfectly capable.
No stick there, down on one knee, and I think he's praying for the ball to hit the pocket. So much for perfect game chatter. That is over, and now he's left with a difficult spare.
The 2, 5, 7, 8. Actually, I think the best way to play this, Dan, is on the Brooklyn side, to hit the 2-pin on the left. We'll see how he plays it. Many people try and play it on the right. Hit the 2-pin on the right, send the 2 into the 7, and the ball takes out the 5 and the 8.
Wow, really lofted that shot. And cut him right out of the heart. So after a beautiful start, coasting along, Handegard makes a mistake, and Gene Stus has just a very small glimmer of hope.
He gets a couple strikes. It becomes more than a sliver.
Like a headlight. A beacon. Good shot. Oh, what happened to the 5-pin? All Gene can do is chuckle to himself and say, this is not the night.
Swings it out wide. Comes in light. Let's watch the head pin and the 5. Oh,
5-pin went right to the 7.
Yeah, right behind it. And the head pin went in front of it.
Wow.
Like a bullet, both of them.
So reminiscent of all those strikes that you tried to throw out there on the national tour.
Only when I slid it into the 7, it fell.
You had a hard time getting the 5 to the 7.
Well, I know. I never threw it that fast, so it couldn't miss it. See?
Oh, yeah, it was the ball speed.
Right. No. I never threw the 5-pin over that fast. See? So it couldn't sail by it like that.
It stumbled in there and got it.
Yeah, right. Turn around, the head of it would hit it.
Fine. 35-pin match. A strike would help. That will not. 3-6-10.
And I really think just in the back of his mind, this pair, 185, he just, even though he tried to talk like he was confident, he wasn't.
It was interesting because most of the time when you ask players about a pair of lanes, and we're always talking about the championship round pair, unless something really good or really bad happens, players have no idea what they've done on that pair of lanes. By an eyelash, the 3-6-10 disappears. Handegard in control after starting with a 5-bagger, then an open. Let's see if he can get back on track.
Hard 10. Well, you have to start thinking of possibilities. Gene Stus, if he strikes out, would finish at 213. John Handegard right now going into 222 pace, so it still can be done with a pencil. John's been throwing the ball very straight at spares all week long, especially spares on the right side of the lane. Just like that. No turn at all.
End over end. And, of course, more live coverage of the Tour de France coming up tomorrow beginning at 5 p.m. Stage number 12, 179 miles. And, of course, ESPN will follow the Tour de France all the way to its completion on July 26th. That is a grueling test.
It's amazing Greg LeMond's won that twice.
Actually, he won it. I think he's won it 3 or 4 times. He's won it twice in a row, 89 and 90. I think he's won 3 times.
3 times.
I think he won in 86, 89, and 90. And currently, as you mentioned him, he's in 4th place right now, so he's far from out of that.
Wow. He paces himself well then.
Oh, he sure does. Remember the finish in 90?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Gene needs to step up the pace right now.
Yep, needs to shift gears. He's hoping for a downhill ride right now. Over the handlebars and through the nose.
Yep. He just can't find the right combinations on this pair. I mean, he averaged 235 for the week, and this makes 2 games he's going to bowl in this pair probably under 200. And that registers in your brain.
And the battle for the #1 spot on the senior tour waged this evening as John Handegard with the upper hand.
Well, you know, John, except for a couple of 10 pins, could have won 3 tournaments in a row.
Well, you mentioned the fact that John Hricsina had made it to the championship round in 10 of 13 events. The handyman has done it 8 out of 9.
And you know the last 9.
Do you know how hard that is?
Especially since everybody is marveling at the competition on the senior tour and how good so many of these new guys are.
I mean, Gene Stus was just a new guy a year ago. And now he's king of the hill. Good-natured sort. Takes the good with the bad.
Well, you know, Handegard has not won it yet, but it's all buttoned. Has now.
This guy's starting to look like Ron Williams.
With that loft, huh?
You're not kidding. Loft and strike. Handegard has all but locked up this championship, and immediately following our Rocky Mountain Senior Classic here this evening, a 10-round junior welterweight bout between Charlie the Natural Murray and, of course, Slammin' Sammy Fuentes, all from the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. Slammin' Sammy Fuentes.
John, just methodical and businesslike and professional from the start to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him, and the demeanor hasn't changed from the first shot of the entire tournament up until right now when he's won. I mean, does it look like he's having fun to you?
No, it doesn't.
Huh? When does the cork on the champagne bottle pop for this guy?
Probably later on tonight.
It's like I told you. He finished second last week, and I'll guarantee he came in here like he had finished last, and he'd go out there and do everything he could to win another one. Never satisfied. I have to ask him if he's ever bowled the perfect game. I'm not talking about a perfect game. I'm talking about the perfect game.
Well, he probably hasn't, because his goal is to find the perfect arm swing, and he says he's still searching for that.
I mean, this guy's looking for the karma of bowling. Do you know what I mean? He's looking to go to a different level, I think. I mean, he's already been one with the ball, I think, and this guy is trying to take it to the mountaintops, don't you think? And you know what? Tonight he got to the... I think he got close to the top of Mount Everest tonight with that performance. John Handegard, just bowling brilliantly, defeats Gene Stus as he shoots .251 in the title match. And now he can relax and have fun. Meanwhile, Gene Stus gets an X, $4,300. He remains the Senior Tour's leading money winner, and he'll take a little vacay now and relax for a few weeks.
Well, actually, 2 days. He's going to bowl the winner of the Choice Hotels Summer Classic.
That's just for the fun of it.
$25,000 winner take all.
Hey, he just won $125 last week.
Then he bowled 1 game for $25,000. He wants to win it.
Okay.
And all the seniors want him to win it.
So it's the seniors against the touring pros. But how fair is it? I mean, he has to bowl on the touring players' condition.
And he has to bowl on against a person who has just won a tournament and is lined up on that pair.
Sure. So I think next year, if there's going to be any fairness in this deal, then we have to work out where a guy wins a touring event, and he has to come in and bowl one of the seniors on a pair of lanes that they've just won on.
I think the touring players would be willing to do that.
All right, Gene Stus, John Handegard, good friends and adversaries. Tonight it was the Handyman, 251 to 201. And we'll talk to John when we return.
Summer Games. It could be the experience of a lifetime.
Here's another great reason to switch to Pizza Hut delivery. Free pie in July.
Free pie in July. Free pie in July.
Get a free medium single topping pizza when you buy a large pepperoni lovers, meat lovers, or supreme pizza at regular price.
Free pie in July.
Free pie in July. So make the switch to Pizza Hut. It's gonna be a great summer.
Free pie in July at Pizza Hut.
Iron Mike on Rust. I hate Rust. Iron Mike on Tough. This is tough. Rust tough. This is Rust. Oleum? The dictionary defines tough as strong, not easily influenced, like me. The definition of oleum is, we sprayed this rusty metal plate with fast-drying Rust Tough, exposed the rusted metal, then placed it in the torture salt fog chamber. The rust didn't spread, it stayed tough. You want tough? What do you want? Oleum. Got rust? Get tough. Rust Tough.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Regular, sensitive, metal. Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
All right, how many this time? 8 cavities. 14 cavities? I didn't think I had that many teeth. You're gonna have to drill? My parents will be very upset.
Parents today hope their kids won't have to go through what they went through. Luckily, today's kids use the toothpaste their dentist recommend. Crest. Crest fluoride formula strengthens tooth enamel, helping to protect against cavities.
Another great checkup. Yes. Later, dude.
Crest, the dentist's choice, is the easy choice.
It's been fun.
.251 to 201. John Handegard wins, and Gary, I know you have a beautiful trophy and a check to present to the handyman, John Handegard.
John, on behalf of Killer Bee Promotions and all the bowling fans in Colorado, I'd like to congratulate you on being our first ever champion of the Rocky Mountain Senior Classic.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks a lot, Gary. I really kind of stunned. You know, the previous weeks when I was a leader, I got on TV and had the same fate that befell Gene. You all watched it. You know what a great game he bowled. It should have been much, much closer. But maybe the breaks do even out after a while.
Gary, why don't you hand him the check, too?
John, here's a check for $8,000. And again, congratulations. Great
Thanks,
shooting.
Gary. Thank you very much.
All right, John, when we come back, we'll get a chance to thank everybody and talk about that wonderful performance. So we'll be back momentarily.
Is it on? Today, Wendy's is happy to announce a great low price on a new old-fashioned single combo. It's a quarter pound of fresh beef, hot off the grill, made just the way you want it. Plus, baby fries that are really big, and you get your favorite 20-ounce drink. Now, that's what I call a real meal. What's more, you save a bundle.
Try Wendy's old-fashioned single combo, just $2.99 for a limited time.
Was it something I said?
The Dodge factory authorized clearance. Get up to $21.75 total savings on Dodge Spirit. Spirit, list priced as low as $10,955 after cash back. Dodge Spirit, preferred overall to Honda Accord in a recent survey comparing things like comfort, convenience, and performance. And if you don't have a garage for your new Dodge, build one. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Can Alan Kulwicki do it twice in 1 year in the Poconos? He's shooting for his second consecutive win at the Pocono International Raceway, NASCAR's most competitive super speedway. The Pocono 500, Sunday, live on ESPN. The Houston Oilers, led by the explosive arm of Warren Moon. The Dallas Cowboys. Emmitt Smith leads this Lone Star State battle. The Oilers meet the Cowboys Saturday, August 1st, live on ESPN.
All right, Michael, a question for John Handegard.
John, in the first match, the right lane, you went light, then you went high. You made an adjustment. Tell us about it.
Well, I think the first time I went light was partly leverage. I don't think I was solid at the line, and I didn't get it out to the